Counting blessings, learning lesson got me feeling special. Spending money, mama said, hope the Lord bless you. Everything I ever wanted, had to pray for. Anything I did wrong, had to pay for. I'll do it all again just to make you smile. Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Now, today we got to talk about redirection from the Most High. Now, that means God wants you to move. Now, it can be from an area, a neighborhood, a city, a state, and for some of us, a country. Man, for real, you might have to move to a different continent if it's the right thing. But signs that God wants you to move would be you getting uncomfortable where you at. Now, we know how I feel when you move to that new house. Now, only if it's better than the previous house. Now, you moving from a tiny home to something with 2,000 square feet. Yeah, you're gonna be feeling happy. But if it's the opposite, you're gonna feel a little bit salty, a little bit sad. But example is, I say you living with family and you're not of age yet to move, but you probably like 16 or 17, and you keep getting into it with your siblings, going back and forth with your parents, or they might want you to keep babysitting your siblings when you want to hang out with your friends. So that could be a sign that God wants you to move. Now, let's say it's a neighborhood. You in a certain neighborhood. You grew up in this neighborhood, or you've been around there for a long time. When you first came around there, you made friends, got along with your neighbors, but over time you started to notice you don't like those neighbors no more, or you don't like the way the neighborhood look or how people treat you around there. That's a sign God wants you to move. Now, it don't always gotta be places. You might be in a relationship and God wants you to move on. Now, when that relationship first started, for the ladies, he was giving you flowers and taking you to museums, showing you art and stuff like that. But as the relationship grew and time went on, you notice he didn't respect you no more. He on the phone, talking to different people. Now, you assume it's another woman, ladies. So when you come around, he getting out the phone, I call you back and hanging up real fast, stuff like that. Fellas, you starting to notice that your girlfriend or wife starting to come in later than what y'all agreed on. She might be starting to come in 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, or y'all might agreed on a time of before 11 or something like that, midnight. But things changing. And first, everything was love, you couldn't wait to talk to that person on the phone or see your partner. You calling each other on y'all lunch breaks, chopping it up. All of a sudden, that stops. You feeling uncomfortable, unhappy in that relationship, that's God showing you it's time to move on. Now, when it comes to places, let's say your city, you in this city and you grew up in the city, you know everybody, you got family there, memories there, a lot of history. But bad things start happening in your town, whereas though your name might be getting caught up in a bunch of drama, something embarrassing happened, and you feel like you need a fresh start. That's God saying it's time to move. Now, we all know moving is unpredictable, scary. Now, in your neighborhood, you know where to go, where not to go. You know where the crime is. And in this new town, you gotta take the word of your relative, the real estate agent, and they telling you the area you moving in got low crime. Yeah, so you going around there and thinking everything peachy, but you got to get to know that town the same way you got to know your previous town where you grew up. But once you move to the right place, you're going to feel comfortable, satisfied, and then you're going to know why God wanted you to move. Now, when it comes to going into another country, you got to be careful, But God will give you a sign that He wants you to move to another country. It might be in your dream, or He might speak through somebody you know, whether it be friend, family member, co-worker, neighbor, etc. And you feel like leaving your country, that's a big leap. But maybe it's something in another country that you're supposed to do, or a place you're supposed to be. Now, just because you born somewhere, don't mean you're supposed to stay there, Jesus even left His town, So, you might need to go to find your peace and to find your happiness. Now, that's the title of this one. God said move. So, listen to the signs that the Most High provides for you, and you're going to wind up in the right place, reach your destiny, and eventually you're going to be happy. But that's all I got for y'all today. Until next time, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, stay blessed, stay safe. Peace.